Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Itlaga Taga Itkanhilaga. Our food is our medicine. My name is Jiskang, and I'll be your host tonight. But before we begin, we'd like to send our condolences to the family of Tilly Orr and her Lanton and Jones family and beyond. We say hawa to them that we could continue with the webinar tonight, and we send our love and prayers. We'll just have a moment of silence. Okay. And again, before we begin, we will ask Waganut to set the evening with an opening prayer.
Right. If we can all come together in our hearts and our minds and thinking of the bereaved ones tonight. Sa lana gunang il khaidagas. Ahayat seeing I scouted down Rafakil. We're gonna sing a call hoisen a secret at iskai. Itla gatagai it kanhilaga. A sit down was gonna saw rida asiat alang kis kulagasang hawa. Again, Lanton, Jones, Guyson, Gooding Iced Edie, Danhan Lad, it Warlochen at Sting, Warlochen slightly jiggy, Gin Warlochen the Gooding Iced Hanawa, the Warlochen gi istapo. Again, I see good at iskai named it Kandaka Lada. I see Warlochandan Scouty Gilf Kill Pagano Tilstow Han it Kunisi Sawan Kaiaway Katlandai Nain Kam it Ta Hang it ki kata esta Wagen it iji Sangatsken Aslu Damjo Kasang Wagen ga Arkaw Hugagudang Iced East White alang dansta named it Heinangai Kutu it Gijigid Wagen on it Stilha. Asi Warlo Handan Scouty Youth Kilwa Salana Gunang Ilhaidas Hawa.
Hawa Skanai, Hawa Gwaganut. So Haida Gwaii food champions continue to work on an all islands food strategy. This webinar is the third of a series of webinars hearing from food champions in all communities, helping us better understand the past, current, and future vision of food on our islands. Hawa to Julia Weeder for her amazing hosting and all the amazing youth who inspired us with their passion and vision for now and the future in our last episode. Itlaga taga itkanhilaga. Our food is our medicine is the name of the webinar tonight, and we will be hearing traditional food stories from our elders, of which there are 7 sharing their knowledge and sharing old and current photos of food harvesting. While you're listening to the elders speaking, we want to hear from you. Please do put your comments in the Facebook comment page, or if you're on Zoom. Part of this series is to build the food strategy from hearing from the community, the islands communities. So Please do speak. You send us, or please do write. Send us your memories of harvesting, of traditional food practices, and tell us what you want to see in 50 years. What do you want to see our islands? How do you want it to support island food independence? Post what you want to see. Give us food independence on Haida Gwaii. Examples, maybe fish hatcheries, solar greenhouses, water containers, composting. You know, there's the ideas are endless. The partners in our island-wide food strategy are the Skidegate Band Council, Healthy Haidas Initiative, which is run through the Skidegate and Old Masset Health Centers, Old Masset Adult Day Program, Skidegate Youth Center, Haida Gwaii Museum, Local Food to School, Northern Health, Sweeloweed Sustainability Society, and the Council of the Haida Nation, from whose office we're hosting tonight. I would like one last thing before I let you know who these wonderful people are. I want to mention that the internet hasn't been very stable on Haida Gwaii for the last couple of days. So if someone cuts out, what my experience is, they will be back on in a couple of seconds. If someone turns off their video, it means their internet is unstable. And if they take the video off, their internet has more power. So I'm really excited to give you an overview of our panelists. We have tonight with us Hereditary Chief Gidansta of the Gagyals Kigawai. I'll list all the clans later. Gwaganat, Ulang Chuthwe, Ulang Chuthwe, Nani Leona Clow, who will be presenting a video, and then Kuyas, Emily Watts, Jut Guhilangs, Svinia Pauline Jones, Kunajat, Jenny Cross, Nana Sansahilawa, and that Crystal Robinson. And Crystal, I want to send our apologies for missing your name, your Haida name on the original ad for this series. And we are glad we had time to fix it for future announcements leading up to tonight, Hawa Hawa. And our last speaker tonight will be Emily Watts. So we will begin the evening then with Hereditary Chief Gidansta. And I will just read you a little bit about him, just in case by some bizarre chance you don't know. Gidansta is the hereditary chief of Gagyals Kigawai, also known as the Skidans clan. He is also known as Gujau, who has served 13 years as president of the Haida Nation. Gujau is known to many as a singer or artist, canoe maker, copper maker. He fancies himself to be a hunter-gatherer. Currently, Gidansta is serving as a strategic advisor to the Coastal First Nations and works with the Council of the Haida Nation negotiating team. Welcome, Gidansta. You're on mute, Gidansta.
How's that?
Very good. I'm very much looking to hear you. Wait.
So they put me first because I'm the youngest out of the group. And you know, it's a good name for the panel. And in the old days, our people were very healthy because they didn't have bread and sugar and all the good things that we get today. And here today, we're also pretty lucky that we still have the foods that our old people had enjoyed. And that's not the same everywhere. And we kind of grow up here thinking that it's normal to eat fish and clams and hunt deer and those kind of things. It seems just the way that it should be. And it is, and that's true. It is the way that things should be. But when you start wandering out into the world, you see that so much of it is being spoiled. Everywhere you go, you see, you know, when you go across the prairies, if you fly over, it looks like a big quilt, different crops, and it's all fenced off. And so the people who live there certainly don't have the life that they had back in the old days. And as you get towards the population centers, the sprawling suburbs and the roads and developments and all the things that feed the economies are affecting everything. They're infringing into the wild and natural world, and usually given the priority over nature. And so it's only when you look beyond here that you realize that our life isn't normal. It's amazing that we still have this, given what's happening to the world. And so now you take the thing, here we are, we're actually killing things to eat. And the effect of that is, to somebody who has never had blood on their hands, they think that might be barbaric or mean to kill something. But yet to eat, in the city or anywhere, somebody's got to kill something, whether it's a cow or a plant. And, I don't really consider myself, like a deeply spiritual person, but, I do appreciate that animals have the same drive to survive, to live, to reproduce, to have families as we do. And so when you take a life, it is with that in mind, whether it's a salmon or a goose or an octopus, somewhere, this thing that we're killing, it might have family, it might have, something that another mate that loves it. And so, it's not, so, like, while we enjoy it and it gives us so much pleasure to enjoy these gifts, we do have to know that it's, at a cost to the other lives. And so that is, I think, the spiritual aspect of living, and where the deeper regard for, what is meant by respect is respecting that something has as much will to live as you do, and you may take it. Even plants, we don't know. We're, like, at least most of us aren't close enough to know their reaction to being chewed up by a deer or by a human, but it's something that we always got to consider when we take them. Some things were made to be eaten, like berries, and they deliberately planned that. They planned to be eaten and pooped out and grow again somewhere. So all those things that just seem like nature, again, it's so amazing. Life is so amazing. And that's where we get our life, of course, but we get our culture. Everything that we consider our culture is about the land that's giving us these things. The language is all directly from the earth. And that's all, again, amazing stuff. And this is why there's different cultures, different parts of the earth produce different things, and of course then different cultures. And so when we think about where in 50 years we'd like to be, the main thing is that we provide the opportunity for the next generation to enjoy these same things. You know, if that's the standard, if the standard is that there will be salmon, that there will be clams, that there will be clean water, then, you know, that's all we need. Everything else, all the human-made things are just the trimmings. You know, we could have that. We could have anything the white man has that has money. We could have that. That's not an issue. The issue of us as Haidas is, what did the land give us? You know, like what we have now is rich, really rich, lovely land, but yet in the lifetime of most of us sitting here, we've seen it depleted from even a greater richness. And you know, we did a lot of work to protect land and to protect creeks and to change the way business is done. And now we got to start thinking about how do we build it back up again, get all the creeks producing the way they ought to be. And even at that, then we have the bigger troubles of this whole world being threatened by the changing, unpredictable climates now, the warming waters and those sort of things. You know, the diseases will be part of it as well. So even this COVID, with all the inconvenience that it's caused, that, you know, like our people got so busy gardening and doing all these wonderful things with, you know, thinking about their health and providing for their families, because suddenly we could see that, you know, the ferries could stop running, you know, everything could just come undone, and what would we have over here? We'd be in trouble if we didn't correct ourselves and start getting on a path to be more self-sufficient. And so the gathering, you know, it just seemed really busy, really like everybody could really see the importance and the beauty and appreciate what it is that we have here. Amazing place to be, where, you know, other places don't have that kind of wealth around them. And so I did watch the kids the other when they did a presentation like that. They're just absolutely great, and as enthusiastic about it as they could be, and, you know, like really hopeful, because when people love the land, then we know there'll be somebody there to look after it. So that's what I'll say for now. Hoa.
Hoa kills Sly. Hoa, so much for that. You touched on so much, and especially, you know, the root of it all, Yahgudang, respect. And I remember when I moved home in the late 90s, I hadn't gone hunting since I was young, and I'd never, taken the deer's life before, and I was really nervous, and I felt bum. Hey, I felt guilty, and I went and saw Auntie Di Guaganut, and she said, "How could you be thinking?" She said it real nice. It was a huge learning thing. How could you think about yourself and your own feelings of sadness when that deer is giving its life to you? You need to respect it, not feel sorry for yourself. It was a huge learning when you can translate that in your head into an understanding. And then, the whole correcting ourselves and our laws of the earth, take only what you need and then only what the land can bear. You talk about our future. You've raised your children. So many on island are raised to know about our food and our wealth of the land. I remember, your old uncle, your predecessor, Gadansta, Chief Gadansta, and you grew up with him, and you spent a lot of time trapping and down in Guayhanas, hey?
Mhm.
Yeah. I guess that formed a lot of yours.
Yeah, and like it, when we're here, like, and we end up as little kids, whether I was in Masset going out on the beach, right in Masset Slough there, right out to the point to dig clams and cockles and even get the odd sea cucumber. I mean, it is amazing, like wonderful day just with my mom or going down this way, right down below us here with Nana Eva to get some cockles and that yeah, it's deep stuff, like, and but yet, it should be just normal for us. I mean, it is normal. It should remain normal for each generation like that. And I guess it still is. We're lucky.
How it's always a little bit of luck in there, hey? We're lucky and grateful. Hawa Gadansta. Our next panelist is Guaganut, my auntie Guaganut. And Dr. Guaganut belongs to the Kayathlonis Haidega. Amongst other things, she's a medicinal practitioner, language champion, knowledge holder, Haida scholar and teacher, ceremonial leader, and general leader of many things. She is a food expert, and she also holds a very prestigious title as she is an elder for the Spirit Alliance, which is an international organization that had 250 applicants, and one of them, eight elders were selected. Guaganut is one of these elders, so she has many responsibilities beyond our nation. Because they selected knowledge holders who knew the language, origin stories, and works with their communities in a dedicated manner, it makes sense that she's here tonight. Welcome, Guaganut.
Jiskung. This is a very important topic, and it seems like just when you get to worrying about things in the future, something like this happens and makes you have hope. But my first lesson that I could remember with my mom was I always had to go and get cockles almost every tide in the summer. And my dad and I would go out in the winter. And before I'd go, oh, there I am, digging clams at eat there. But I'd go out and get some cockles for her. But before I left in the morning, she'd say, one of the things she'd say is, the tide doesn't wait for anybody, get going. And then she'd say, don't you think bad thoughts as you're gathering the food. You clean your mind. Don't be angry at anything. You must respect the food. And if you get angry, the anger gets on the food. And therefore, when you And then if you get angry while you're cooking the food, you're putting more anger on it, and then it affects your family. So that was one of my first major lessons in my life from my mom. And as for gathering medicines, she didn't, she wasn't well, so she couldn't take me into the forest to show me many. But my first trip with her, I think I might have been 4. And she showed me 3 medicines behind our United Church here. And one was Kaidai Kajawai, and another one was Hut Ango, and I forgot the third, but they looked similar in my memory anyway. And quite a few years later, probably when I was 5 or 6, my dad got an ulcer, a bleeding ulcer. And she said, I took you in the forest and I showed you 3 medicines. Now you go and get the Kaida Kajawai. That's little tree in Haida. And she said, get about a handful. And that's I went up behind the church. There was nothing, no roads up there then. And I didn't remember exactly. And that was when my relationship with the earth really began, because I was so afraid to take the wrong one home. I just asked for help, and I took the right one home. So respecting all our food is a great part of our stories, a great part of how we survive. I heard from Jetswan, a great matriarch of the Skadans people, my father's second wife. She told me about famines and how difficult for the people when the stories come out about when there was a famine. She said nothing survived, no food was, when the famine came, all the food went. And there's a big lesson in Sao, Ulikans. Someone disrespected them one time, and they moved and never to return. Now we have to go to the mainland and trade, or my dad tells me how they would go up the Nass and trade for Ulakan oil, tau and Ulikans with his mother's weaving. So our histories knows what it's like to be completely without food. And I love reading the creation stories and other stories. And one of the most beautiful passages that I came across not too long ago was long ago when our ancestors saw fish going up the river. They said, oh, the souls are going up the river. You know, they never said the fish are going up the river, the souls and the spirits are going up the river. And just what Gu Zhao said, we are no more than them, and we are not less than them. We're equal to them. And they give up their lives for us. So how we treat it is key. In the prayer, I found an ancient prayer, and I mentioned it in my prayer. One was Ahayat Gaskanagwas Git Alangida Hidi Wagen Itki Lak Jurasang. That's today we will give the supernatural food. And then they may take pity on us. Another one I found, this paper just fell out today, so I'm quite happy with it. This one, the second one is, Kayaway kasundai named Kum ita Haing itki kata ista wagen it iji singati gen aslud damju kasang. That one is ocean spirits. Do not eat us. Instead, would you give us food? And then our stomachs would be big and round. And the third one, I think, is it's about the thread of life, the one way. It's Ayaway alang tansta named Ithainangai Kutu Itki Itki Jigit Wagen on its teeth. That one is, as we pull on the thread of life, it makes, it's possible if you could hold us as we pull on the thread of life, and then we could return. So those are a few old ancient prayers that I took out of the stories of our ancestors. And so with the medicines, a lot of the medicines we have were given to us by Ajila Kuntz. And she showed us which ones to pick and what it would heal and how we shouldn't over harvest. And the same rules go for medicine. You don't pick it in anger or be miserable while you're picking it, or you affect the medicine you're making for a person. I don't make medicine if I'm not feeling well. If I got a cold or something, I don't work on it. So the basic and the main rule when you say, when we prepare and gather food, how do we respect it? And so all those things I mentioned is to keep our minds clear when we gather food, fish, cockles, scow, clams, sockeye. We keep ourselves in a good mind so as we don't affect the food in a negative way. So this is what I was worrying about, that we need to pass this on more to our children. It needs to be a part of them as they grow up. And when I saw that the webinar with my grandsons were in it and my granddaughters, and I see it in them, and they are very respectful and they love gathering. And Tison, for example, he only likes his seafood raw. I asked him, they went to a restaurant in Vancouver, a special one where blind people wait on you, and it's all dark in there, and you eat, but of course, hopefully the cooks could see. But I said, how was that meal you had in the blind people's restaurant? And he said, no good. I said, why? And he said, they cooked it. He does not like seafood to be cooked. He'd rather have it raw. And I give advice that you start your children really early eating the raw food like gudingai. If you're trying to do it when they're say 5 or 6, 7, they won't like it. I started mine when they were 3, 4 months with gudingai, and my grandchildren too, started giving it to them as soon as I could, so that it would just be everyday thing for them. So for the future, I just would like parents to teach their children these basic Haida ways. Don't take too much. Respect all things. And then we'll be okay, because like Pooja said, I went to Onondaga, which is back east, and they have a beautiful river running through their village, but there hadn't been a fish there for 200 years. They had spring salmon, they had sockeye, they had coho coming up that river. And then when white people came, the contact came, they built factories and things like that, and put the bad leavings, it contaminated their river so bad that it was only 20 years ago I was there, and there was nothing yet alive in that river. The only thing that was alive were tiny little things that they called suckers. You can't eat them or anything. But when you stepped in the river, they all went after you to get salt off you. But I seen how they're forced to live. They don't have traditional fish or seafood anymore. And when you go inland, in most places in the States, the people who survived off buffalo, they don't know more there. They have to live off the stores, and therefore a lot of people have diabetes. And there is a lot of diabetes among our people as well. But when in the beginning, there was no sugar or flour or anything like that. And so our ancestors were so strong. They were able to, even as like Jutspun, my stepmother, she would row over to Alfred Bay with her blind grandmother and then walk to Skidegate Lake. And her Nanai was blind. She led her. And she said they were going around, they would walk around the Skidegate Lake, and she said, grandmother, look at all the fish and the animals around this lake. They all Ama and Chigan in the water. So it makes me feel that the water is not clean. And her mother said, her grandmother said to her grandchild, you see the rocks in the bottom of the lake and then sand. She said, all those sand and the rocks are washing that river to make it pure for you and for me. It's not dirty at all. It's being cleaned for you. She also would spend a good amount of time in Kamshua when she was a little girl with her blind grandmother and her grandfather. Her grandfather would go prospecting, and he would set a halibut line with shells in the bushes so that when they were in the longhouse, if they got a bite, a halibut bit the line, they knew then that when the tide went down, they could go down and collect the halibut. And she said her nanai had to crawl down to that spit, and they would cut it up and she would run it up to the house. And they lived like that for a few weeks before the grandfather would come back. But they were strong, very strong. All the women, most of the women had food gathering canoes so that they could handle it with themselves or with another person. One time, my dad remembered a story that he'd never told before. It was raining so hard that it's dal skilled up. That's when the big raindrops hit in the ocean, and then it bounces back up. And when that happens, he said she would say, "Dal skilled up a southeast wind is going to come." So he said they would hoist up the sail and go as fast as they could to a safe harbor. And he said no sooner would they get into the safe harbor when the big storm would hit. Now, they wouldn't survive if they didn't know the land so intimately and be so close as to read every sign to know that this storm was coming. So when I hear these stories about our ancestors, we've got to try to be as good as they were to keep it going. Thank you for listening to my voice.
Hawa gwaganat saudang da he he. Wagin diskistel dumstelga. My belly's rolling round, and so is my heart. Hawa for your words. And I enjoyed your grandson so much a couple weeks ago. And I'm real proud to say I've won a Gunslon squirrel pelts. Hey, it's all proudly displayed on my table with all my fancy plants. So yeah, so how was so much Guaganat, and I just love learning from you. You bring it all together. I'll remind people at this time, don't be shy to put your own vision in about what you want for Haida Gwaii. We've already heard such incredible people. Don't be shy. This is part of creating this strategy. And Missy, how Missy? So she put in some ideas, and she also wants a squirrel for Guaganat. So just remind people that what is your vision, and also what are your stories? Do you have some good memories? So next I'm so excited, we have Ulang Huswe, and that's Nani Leona Clow, and she's going to be sharing a video with us tonight. But just before, I'll just say that what you saw, that beautiful drawing, that's Kara Seabright, who is capturing the wonderful things that are being said tonight. Beautiful work will be doing towards the end of the evening. So Nani Leona's video, hey, hey. Ilea, can you restart the video? We can't hear it. Maybe what we'll do while we're trying to I think it might be some internet challenges. So I think what we'll do because we have a number of wonderful speakers, is we will come back to Nani Leona, and hopefully the video will be worked out by then. So I'm very happy to bring on the next speaker, and that is Kuyas, Emily Watts. Emily Watts is from the Kianusali Raven clan. Her Haida name is Kuyas. She lives in Plage, Old Masset. She enjoys berry picking and harvesting food off the land. She enjoys walking the beaches and picking unique agates. Oh, you are just so lovely. I bet you have an amazing collection, hey?
Yeah.
Welcome, welcome. I look forward to hearing you.
Hawa. Okay. Yeah, I enjoy berry picking and going out on the beach to get clams and chitons and go out cranberry picking and all kinds of berries. And it's so different now. Years ago when I was young, I'd get about 10 cases of huckleberries and salmon berries, and now I only get about 2 or 3 cases. I don't go out as much. I'll tell you a story about me and my friend Elsie was at where I was living, and she said, "Gee, you got lots of huckleberries on the side of your house." And I was going out one day, pack my buckets and gonna go out, and a raven was screaming at me. And I'm thinking, gee, I wonder why it's screaming at me so hard. And anyways, I was washing dishes, looking out the back window, and I went, oh, it looks like there's lots of huckleberries behind the house. And I forgot all about it, and I went out on the car, looked for huckleberries. And then I thought about it when my friend told me. And we went out the back to look, and the huckleberries were just hanging there and just like big marbles. Here the raven was trying to tell me that there was lots behind my house. And I was so shocked when the ravens talked to me. I listened to them when I'm walking. And I was going to bingo one time and got out of the car, and the raven said, "Good luck." And I was they laughed at me all the way to Skidegate when I was going down there to play. And here I won $1,000 because the raven told me I was gonna win. And another time I was living uptown and leaving the house, and raven was pulling moss out of the eaves trough. And I looked up at it and I said, "And do the back one." And I left the house, and when I got home, the whole front yard was full of moss in the backyard. They cleaned my eaves trough right out. So the raven really understands when I talk to them. And I'm just so proud of that I'm a raven. Anyways, I go out picking chitons, and I just go out for about half hour, and I get home. I tell Margaret to clean it with me, and I just get enough for ourselves. And what you call I used to go out for fishing on a boat. I just enjoyed going out on boat to fish, and now I can't go anywhere. And I'm just when I walk the beach too, I go to North Beach. It's changing so much, and every time I go down, there's trees down. I haven't been down there for a long time. I should have brought all my treasures that I picked up I have quite a few collections of. One's got a lady on a rock, and a raven and an eagle, and I found an egg, looked like an egg, and yep, and just so thankful to be talking to you guys tonight, and I pray for the whole world that things will get better. Hawa for having me.
Hawa so much, Kuyas. And you know, when you said you go cranberry picking, my jaw dropped open because cranberry picking is quite a thing. You have to sort of crawl along your belly, and it's, you know, it's really hard work. And I'm just like, wow, really? I'm shouldn't admit it, but I won't go cranberry picking, although now I'm gonna have to, right?
Yeah.
And also
I usually get an ice cream bucket.
it works good, hey? You
Yeah,
just
and then the strawberries, years ago, I used to go out at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I never get home till supper time. I
wow.
crawl around out there all day, maybe get about 6 ice cream buckets. Now
Wow.
I could only get done 1 ice cream bucket. Too hard
And
on my back.
oh, okay. Yeah, that is impressive. Really. That's inspiration that basically now I have a responsibility to do that. Hey, I can't not. How is so much for that. And again, people, if you don't know how
Oh, oh, yeah. Yeah.
hi, sorry, that's the internet I was talking about. I'm going to take myself off video. But yes, and also just the raven speak, you know, my Chiniclod and Guaganut, my auntie taught me about that. And it was great to hear you talk about it too, an actual language that if we spend time, you know, you can learn it. Anyways, I'm excited. So how was so much, Emily? And so glad you're here. And Emily will be doing our closing prayer later tonight.
Okay.
I'm Hawa. And
Well,
so I'm happy to say we figured out the video. So the next panelist is Ulang Khuswe, and that's Nani Leona Clow. Hawa again, Emily.
Merry Christmas, everyone. I wish I could hug every one of you. I'm going to talk to you about how we can our fish and working on their food. I know my parents had well, I learned when I was young, but as my kids grew up, my mom and dad were teaching them, and they all learned how to do can the way mom and dad did it. And then Mrs. Penna asked me why we do ours so different. I said we were taught that way from mom and dad. And Nani, and I help Nani Florence quite often making sandwiches or whatever, and we even left the bones in it because it was so tender and it was extra calcium and nutrients. And to make it look very appetizing. And then to can the fish, you boil the lids for 5 minutes when you're going to cover, wipe the rims before you cover it and boil the lids, and then boil the fish for 4 hours if it's not in a pressure cooker, for 90 minutes in the pressure cooker. And mom always put it on dish towel and covered it with dish towels when it's cooling off. And dad smoked salmon. We only smoked sockeye and Mom and dad had a certain way. Like I said, everybody has their own way. And it was so good. And then we worked in the cannery, and I remember working in the dark room with the nonnies, and they were so happy I was in there. I was only a teenager, and they all looked at me under the light, and each one of them wore false teeth. Some were purple and some were green under the light, and I just couldn't stop laughing, and they're all laughing with me. So they didn't have me in the dark room very long because I was kept everybody so noisy and just laughing. It was fun with the elders. And we did the crab at home. We learned how to work on it fast when we worked in the cannery. And even my son learned how to work on it at home like we do in the cannery. He's pretty fast. And you do the canning the same way as a fish. You boil it 4 hours or 90 minutes. And yeah, we did all our canning. We had beef, and we canned our beef because there was no electricity. We canned it or salted it. And if I had to babysit, I remember Mom saying, all you have to do is open the jar and heat it up on the stove. And I thought I was a really good cook at that time. It was fun growing up to learn how to do all this stuff with Mom and Dad and nonnies. And wasn't work. It was fun to be all together with your parents. Hello for listening.
Oh, how Nani Lee. That was just wonderful. I got a kick out of your Ting story, hey? And I also just learned that it was your birthday a couple days ago. Kaya singay kurang la. I'm hoping you're watching and you can hear that. Wagandang gadiku gaganan. Hawa, hawa. So just so people know, we have Svinia Jones, Jenny Cross, and Crystal Robinson coming up right now. And so the next speaker is Jat Hilang's Svinia Pauline Jones. Welcome, Svinia. Svinia, you're muted.
Can you hear me now? Kieran, can you hear me?
Anga.
Oh, okay. That's good. I got my grandson. He's the one that's helping me poke around with things. So thank you so much. I really appreciate listening to everybody's stories, and I was really lucky to be brought up with Nani Florence and them, Nani Hannah and them. They used to drag me all over the bush, and they always used to enjoy, because I used to dance around all the time when I'm picking and sing around with them. They always sang when they were picking. And I really enjoyed it because they always had a really big picnic after everything was all over with. And we used to go down North Beach all the time. There was lots of tobacco around down there before. There was 2 different kinds down there. And it was right around by the little river that's there. And we used to pick really lots of different kinds of flowers down there. And there used to be really a lot of strawberries down there as well. And there's different places where we'd be able to pick huckleberries and blueberries. And they used to bring me across to Yan, and we used to be able to pick really lots of cranberries there as well, huckleberries. And there used to be really lots of Devil's Club there. That's what we used to go and after in Yan. And there used to be Devil's Club too right around Toe Hill area.
we used to be able to go there as well. Same with tobacco too. There was some tobacco there. And we used to be able to pick really lots of, there was these small little blueberries too. They were low to the ground. They weren't high up like the blue huckleberries we got now. And I don't see those too much anymore. They're still coming back around Toe Hill area. I still go picking in that area. And I'm really lucky I got my great grandchildren helping me pick, and my grandchildren are learning how to do the herbal medicine and stuff like that. And same with my daughters. And I'm really enjoying going out with them. I had my great grandson Lamar with me, and I was having so much fun with him and enjoying my quality time with them, mainly because I'm blessed that they want to learn. I also go to the schools and stuff like that to talk about the herbal medicines too. And I try really hard to introduce the little ones down at Chief Matthews on what we eat. I went down there with Sarah a few times. I pick really lots of rose petals, and I do different things with the fruit and the fireweed and stuff like that. I cook with most of it. I don't do salves or anything like that. And I cook with a lot of kelp. I go and pick different kinds of kelp. And the kelp I like cooking with because it's got a lot of potassium and iron in it. And that's what we really need. With the kelp, I dry the skirt part up, and I pick different kinds of kelp as well, not just the seaweed. I do all kinds of different kinds of kelp, like this bright green ones. I really enjoy that, but those are hard to come by now. There's hardly any of that around. You have to go quite a ways to get it. And I really enjoy, I dry it, and when I'm cooking with it, the leaf part of it, I soak it in Olegan grease, and then I mash potatoes, and then I put in clams, and I put in sea asparagus and different things like that inside the scoozy. And then I wrap it up, and then I threw it in the oven for a few minutes just to warm it up, and then I take it out and eat it. Oh, is it ever good? And I do different things with the berries too. I make myself my own ketchup out of the rhubarbs and stuff like that. And we used to go across the inlet by Yan and whatnot. That's where there used to be really lots of cranberries. And there used to be tobacco there as well around by Yan area, by that river. And the reason why I'm getting kind of worried about most of our stuff deleting out is because I'm noticing as I'm picking now how things are starting to delete out, like our flowers and stuff like that, especially down at North Beach area. And the environment has a lot to do with the things that are happening down at North Beach too, because we're flooding out down there. The tide's coming up quite big down there. And by our graveyard, the tide's coming up quite a bit by the graveyard, and it's getting kind of concerning. And it would be so great if we can start helping our younger generation by going to the schools and explaining to them and showing them exactly what we do with our plants and stuff like that, and help them try to save our environment, because it's their environment we're trying to save things for. And it would be great if we can stop logging here, because we need the trees. There's going to be nothing left for food anymore if all the trees are gone. And the way things are going right now, we're in dire straits, and our deer are starting to turn white. And that's not a very good sign. When our animals start to turn white, we're not we're not even going to be able to eat them. Our deers, most of our deer are starting to get white spots on them, and that's getting kind of concerning. And it would be good if somebody could do a study on why they're starting to turn white and why so many of the deer are starting to have white spots on their liver. And when I went to an environmental meeting quite a few years ago when Michael Nichols was in office, he's sent me to Winnipeg, and there was some Yetzhades in there that were talking about they buried a whole bunch of drums and stuff like that out at Limberlost. That's why Limberlost is the way it is now. It never used to be like that before. And now I see deer when I go out cranberry picking out there. I see deer out there that's got white heads, and that's getting really concerning. And I'm still going out cranberry picking to this day out at around by Watt Lake and all of them different places. I enjoy giving what I pick, I give out to everybody in that I know of. I'm 76 years old, but there's other people that are older than me and that they can't get out there. So I really enjoy sharing what I do pick because I'm blessed by them sharing what they have with me because I don't get fish and stuff like that. Now people bring by fish to me and clams to me. And so I'm really lucky in that direction. I'm very, very blessed with people doing things like that for me. And I just don't know how to express how happy I am that I'm living here on Haida Gwaii, mainly because we got so many wonderful people that are interested in what we're doing with our plants and stuff like that and trying to keep things alive. I really, really appreciate what you're all trying to do, and especially with getting different species here with the, I really think it's a good idea with the having to wash their boats and stuff like that, their cars and stuff like that before they even get here, and wash everything down before they leave as well. I think that's the best idea in the world, and with, especially with different species of plants coming here. And what we used to do in the old days is we used to like the different flowers, for instance, the fireweed. It used to belong to Dorothy Bell and them. We used to, I used to bring tobacco over to her when we were going to go pick the fireweed. And there was different trees and stuff like that as well. And I'd have to go to different houses to get tobacco. And so we could go pick. And when we'd go pick, they always offered a penny or tobacco, and always offered a prayer because they're all living things and they're giving up their lives for us. And even the flowers are giving up their lives for us because they got feelings too. So I always used to really enjoy listening to them when they used to sing songs before they pick. And I really enjoy doing that myself, even to this day. I go out cranberry picking with my sister Elsie, and she's going to be 83 years old, and she's still going out cranberry picking with me. We were just out cranberry picking, and it was frosty out, and I had a really hard time calling her in. Come on now, it's cold. Hucksta, Hucksta. Ganga, Ganga. She's so stubborn. I love her with all my heart. And that, and it would be, that's all I got to say on the subject. And I'm hoping that we all can get together and start teaching the younger generations on what we do and what we eat. Hawa.
Yeah, Hawa, so much. I'm starving, and from listening to you and seeing so many extra foods that I don't particularly gather or go out much for, and even seeing the wild rose or the clover or the yarrow, we remember more that there's so much more in your words. What I did forget to do before, I was so excited to hear you speak, is I forgot to read your biography, and I would just like to do that quickly so people know more about you. So
Okay.
Jat, okay, Jatkuhilangs is Emily Watt's name, and she belongs to the Yakujanas clan. She has 5 Okay, I'm back. I think the internet got shocked at how rich you are with grandchildren and great grandchildren. Svinia also enjoys getting food and medicine from the land and waters of Haida Gwaii. She has been doing this for her whole life, and she was groomed by Nani Florence and Nani Hana. Nani Lucy, sit down. Wow. She was also an actress in the Haida language film Edge of the Knife. So I forgot that's Guaganat too. You've got a couple movie stars on here. Hey, hey. Svinia, how was so much, and for also pointing out the changes in our land. And we need to pay attention to that as much as we need to pay attention to us correcting ourselves. Notice what has changed. So I want to let people know that when my internet blanks out, I lose the comments, but they're not being lost. They're on another computer. But I remember seeing someone saying, that is an interesting thing about the deer. And I think you said the white spots on the liver, it would be good to figure that out. And there was someone else really appreciating listening to the wisdom of our elders and wondering how we can gather that that knowledge. And the best thing is to listen, but that person's right. We need to put it together and continue to get to listen to such beautiful people. So I will remind people as well that you throw those comments in, even if I lose them, someone else still has them. So we have Jenny Cross and Crystal Robinson left to share their wisdom and passion and beauty with us. So I will take my screen off. I'm worried I'm going to lose again. And so Jenny Cross, Kunajat, is an early childhood educator for 15 years and works at the Skidegate Early Childhood Development Center. In this daycare setting, they have an Aboriginal Head Start parent and taught program where she facilitates and teaches families our Haida traditional ways. We have a wide range of activities. They have a wide range of activities that they offer to the families, which include traditional food gathering and harvesting, traditional medicine gathering and preparation, Haida language, Haida song and dance, drum making, regalia making, etc. It is her belief or mantra. It is Jenny's belief or mantra to pass along our cultural teachings to the next generations. Whatever knowledge we achieve in our life's journey should be passed along. Our ancestors have ensured that cultural teachings thrive through the generations. We are the next generation of Haida cultural teachers. Welcome, my friend Jenny.
Hello. When I go out harvesting, I always give thanks to Mother Earth or the ocean for providing the abundances for us. I feel that it's important also to give thanks for the animals and the birds offering up its life so we can have food for our winter supply. When I offer tobacco, I put it in my left hand, the same side as my heart. And I do my prayers and my thanks. And then the tobacco is offered to Mother Earth or to the ocean. I feel it's important to give thanks for what we receive. And And regarding respectful harvest practices, I believe that we should only take what is needed, and we leave the rest for reproduction. There's so many times when like non-Haidas come and harvest from our land, and then they take so much, like our deer and stuff, they come and they harvest it and then they bring it back to the mainland, and that leaves families with less to live on. So I feel that's important, just to keep that in mind, is take only what you need. And I believe that when you're out harvesting, anything like cedar, is when you harvest, you only in one area, you just take just a little bit, just enough, and then you move to the next area. That goes for like Devil's Club too, because Devil's Club is very hard to find here on Haida Gwaii. It seemed like you have to go further and further back on the logging roads to find it, because I'm not sure if it's a deer eating or what's happening, but if we can just all be mindful and just take just enough and leave the rest for reproduction, and only take just a few like branches off of the few stalks off of the plant, and then just leave the rest for the next year. I know that my husband and I, when we go out, we always take note of where we find it, and then when we go back the next year, sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. That's when we figure that people are finding out where it is, and then it's gone. So I think that if we could all just be a bit more mindful. I work here at the Head Start program. We're doing our small part by passing on knowledge of traditional harvesting skills, and teaching our families to have a connection to culture and connection to life skills, and just going out onto the land for land-based learning and harvesting. And when our dear elder, who is a part of our program, Auntie Jackie Casey, she would come with us and she would do a Haida prayer before we did any type of harvest. She'd give a prayer of thanksgiving before we did our harvest. And she even used to come down to the beach at 90 years old. She might have been 92, 91. She'd come down to the beach and she had her, oh my God, I forgot the name for the cockle stick. Dulgu. She had her dulgu stick with her to show our families how to look for the cockles, and how to find the eyes that are buried in the sand. Mind you, we didn't get anything that day. I think we might have got a couple, but still she came down to the beach at 92, 91, 92 years old and harvested with us. And she'd come out when we picked lavender tea, or when we picked cranberries, or just any type of harvest, she would come out. And we're very fortunate to have her, and very honored to be in her presence, teaching us along the way. We would invite community harvesters, like in Talal, we sought out Bob Crooks to teach us how to gather sea asparagus. We went out and he harvested the sea asparagus with us and taught us how to clean it. We bring elders into our program and get them to teach us how to skin the deer. Just so many different people that we utilize, harvesters in our community, that we bring into our program to teach our families, because I feel that's important to pass the knowledge on. In my Moody aunties, Nana Maud, Auntie Ethel Agnew, were medicine gatherers. They prepared the medicine. They taught many people in our community how to prepare medicine. They were very respectful when they did their harvesting. They would send grandchildren down to the creek at Amkanlai to gather Kalgwin for their winter supply. Our Auntie Ethel, she had plants in her house, and she had like grew lettuce and stuff like that. And she would talk to them because I figured that she knew that the plants had a spirit. So she would talk to the plants and they would thrive under her love and under her green thumb, so to speak. So plants do have a spirit. In harvesting, when you're harvesting fish or animals or plants, it's important to utilize all parts. There's a lot of our younger generation now who don't use the head of salmon, or they don't smoke the bones. So those are old teachings that that I feel need to be brought back. There's a lot of waste with deer ribs. A lot of hunters don't like the deer ribs, and which is the best part. Our Auntie Agnes used to get my brother sugar to bring a certain part of the deer home, and then she would make a cream for it. And she would use that cream to put on her face or her elbows or her skin. And her skin, she had the softest skin when she was even when she was in her 80s. Like I could just talk so much and give thanks for my Moody aunties and my parents. I can give thanks to my parents who are food gatherers. Like any big family, growing up, we ate a lot of traditional food. Our dad would go out and hunt geese and ducks and deer, and we lived off of seafood. So we had a lot of that growing up. So we're very thankful and thankful to our mother for passing on the preparation of our traditional foods, so that today we are able to carry that on and pass it on to our children. I just feel that there's so many of the old teachings that need to be held on to and just shared with the future. And I'm thankful that there is some young folks out there who are willing to learn. Our Head Start program, like we're not open during COVID. So today we did food boxes for our families. And so in the food boxes, I picked some stinging nettle, call, and prepared it in little packages for our family. And I harvested stinging nettle, the mint. And then I harvested rose hips and dried it here in our program. And I went out and I picked Labrador tea and dried it, and I've put little packages for our family. This is some things that we would usually do with our families, but we can't during COVID. So I went out and harvested, and this was gifted to our families today in their food boxes. And I did up recipes in how to make tea. And we purchased cranberries from a community member in Old Masset, and we're able to make wild cranberry relish using my mother's, Irene's recipe. And I jarred it up here, and I did a video and shared it on our Head Start and Daycare Facebook page so that our families can learn. So I feel that it's very important to pass on the knowledge. And I have been doing some videos. When COVID hit, I decided that I should share what I have gained through the years from a lot of beautiful people, and create these videos so that they can be utilized for the future. So boy, there's so much that I want to say. Pauline mentioned the white spots on liver. When my husband and I go out hunting, every once in a while we come across a deer with white spots on the liver, or else they would have warts around the eyes or like around the mouth. Very distinct distortion. So we would leave it. We would leave the deer. We would not take it home. And again, tobacco was offered beforehand. But that's kind of worrisome on why, like Pauline said, it's very worrisome on why this is happening to our deer on Haida Gwaii. So I'm trying to get everything out that I want to share. So that's what I want to share with all of you today. I'm very honored to be here with so many beautiful, knowledgeable elders. So hawa so much.
Oh, so much, Jenny. And we are so honored to have you here. And however, showing us the love that you have for our foods and our lands and waters and your family and the children and their families that you teach and you're passing the knowledge on to. I got to go to Head Start with my kids, hey, and you taught us a lot then. And you know, I want to honor your dad and your mom. So the late Chief Skidegate and late Irene Collinson, you know, they looked after our village in their time, and your dad would feed us with fish across the village. You have good aunties and good parents, and Hawa for that so much, and Hawa for caring so much. Hey, and I was going to bring up your Facebook videos. They're awesome. They're very awesome. So Hawa for that as well. Lagan. Okay, so then we have, and I'll just remind people again, because this is our last panelist before we do some closing and a beautiful closing prayer by Emily Watts. But so our next panelist is Nana Sansahilawa, Crystal Robinson, and she is from the Yahgulanis clan. Her young woman name is Kungjade, and her name that I already said, her adult name, Nana, oh, I'm reading it wrong, sorry. Nana Nana Sansahilawa. I'm so sorry, Crystal. That name is her adult name, and it comes from her 7th generation matrilineal grandmother. That is amazing. How for sharing that. She is, and Crystal is a nanny to 1 granddaughter and a mother to 4 children, 3 boys and a girl. Her passion is gathering traditional foods and preserving them because it brings richness to her and her loved ones for mind, body, and spirit. And she loves feeding people. And we love that you're here. Hawa so much.
Hawa so much for allowing me to be here. Hada Loss is good people. It's good to share with you what I do. I always feel that food gathering is an important part of being a Haida woman, and to teach, to share, to gather, and to preserve for future generations. I am a busy woman from early springtime when the plants start to grow all the way up until December. I'm busy. I am so grateful to the medicine group that I go to at the Nice Lene Healing House. It enriches my life so much. We share the gatherings of teas and medicines. We make healing lotions, salves, creams. I make Deer Tallow Haida Beauty Bar. It's an anti-wrinkle lotion, and it works really good. I use it all the time. Look at me, jokes. But it's very wholesome and grounding to be a part of this group. And part of being sustainable is growing our own food. This is me with my garden box that was given out at the beginning of COVID. I am so lucky to eat out of it right until September. I look forward to springtime when I can go out on my bike and see the fireweed and other plants sprouting. This year I did something different. I dried my fireweed flowers for tea. The smell of fireweed reminds me of my grandmother, Nani Agnes. I make my fireweed jelly with early flowers. I strain it gently through a cheesecloth and let it sit for 2 days so that the pollen settles. That's when that's when it's ready for my recipe. The pollen needs to be removed for the jelly to set properly. I go out annually to pick seaweed with my brother and my nieces. We also enjoy cow this time of year from Bella Bella, the Health of Nations. Following that is sea asparagus. I pick it every year. I pickle it. I make relish with it. This year I got creative and made salsa. My son James can't get enough of it. My son Brody got some spring salmon from Leo Abrahams this summer, while my son Ernest and his fiancee Anna and my granddaughter Kaya was visiting from Victoria. She helped process the fish with her Uncle Brody and Auntie Jaylene. There are so many amazing ways to enjoy salmon. Learn your own way of preserving. I also work on crab and bake a lot of bread for my whole family. I love to harvest all types of berries throughout the summer. But this year I noticed that climate change has really gotten to us and that all the berries came out at the same time. So it was really hard for me to juggle getting all my berries. Late summer, early fall, I go to my nephew Jordan Holt's garden to pick from his fruit trees. He has apples, plums, and pears. I jar them. I make apple cider vinegar, my famous HP sauce, and the list goes on. He's got such beautiful, juicy rose hips that I make Christmas tea blends with. In October, November, we go to the bog to check for cranberries, making sure to wait until the first frost when they are nice and red. This year I dried some Christmas tea. I dried some for Christmas tea blend. We also pick Labrador tea and juniper at the same time. Then we go into making our traditional kimchi and sauerkraut, all local produce. It's important to have extra richness when it's grown at your home on Haida. Late fall, it's time to start working on deer. Here's my daughter Shawnee feeding her very first deer. The doe was bigger than the 3 bucks her boyfriend shot. That was her first deer she shot this year. Then comes winter storms and wash up, razor clams, butter clams, scallops, cockles. And here is our medicine group, doing what we do best, laughing and feasting and giving thanks to the local fishermen who provide us all the sustenance we need to nourish our bodies on Friday afternoons. We've done Devil's Club medicine harvesting in Tsimshian territory on the mainland. We share at community workshops and health fairs. We always pray and give thanks to the medicine. Please don't forget to offer prayers for any food or any medicines you harvest. We never used to have tobacco offerings back in the day. This is a pan-Indian indigenous thinking. I would just like to say thank you, Hawa, to the fellow women that I spend time with, Auntie Clara, Nani Leona, Becky, Tina, Safina, Margaret, Emily, Candace, and I'd like to dedicate this video to Miss Liz Stalker, our dear sister who passed away this year, and to Sarah Stevenson for her guided inspiration of stoking the fire inside us. And my mom used to say to me when she was really happy with food, she'd go, "Gi sislias adangidang, gi sislias adangidang." My stomach is so full, it's smiling. Hawa for having me here to share my knowledge, and I would like to teach the world what I know.
Oh, how so much. Nana Sansa Hilawa. What a powerful way to wind up such a powerful evening of incredibly powerful people. Our food truly is our medicine. Yeah, Hawa so much, Crystal. And so it is, we are at mostly the end here. We do have a closing prayer that Emily will be doing shortly. But first, I'm just so moved. I feel so privileged to be a part of this. Just how all of you, how dalangwa, duhan sao dalangwa, duhan kaida, dalangwa, duhan di kugaga, hawa. So, and now it tells me to say Hawa to our amazing panelists for sharing your hearts and spirits with us tonight. There will be an email address that's going to pop up shortly on the screen. And this is another way for our viewers to connect with us. We are truly wanting to hear from you, everyone on island. How do we create our future on Haida Gwaii? So this is a beautiful graphic by Kara Seavright, who captured the evening and some of beautiful ideas and knowledge and ways. And however that, Kara, that is beautiful. I'm not sure when the email's coming up, but that's okay. And the next webinar will be in the new year. And then this one is exciting. They're all exciting. I love being on Haida Gwaii, from Haida Gwaii. We're going to be hearing from farmers, food processors, and municipalities. So our neighbors on Haida Gwaii, our good friends, what they're up to. We're all in this together. We're all working together, and I'm very excited. So how is so much again to our panelists, to our knowledge holders, to our Haida scholars. You're our teachers, and you will keep us strong with this knowledge. And so I can't say how enough. And I think with that, we have some beautiful comments. How is so much for everyone for sharing your appreciation. And I read that as that is guidance too, is all the appreciation and gratefulness you have tonight for everything that these amazing people have shared with us tonight. So Emily, if you would, Heidi, that was what I was thinking too. My heart is full and my belly hungry. How, so we will ask Emily, please, to do a closing prayer. How,
I'd like to thank each and every one of you tonight for sharing all your good knowledge. And I thank the good Lord for Haida Gwaii. And I pray every day when I'm driving or at home for the safety of Haida Gwaii. And I pray for the whole world that things will get better. Hoa Salana for each and every one of us on Haida Gwaii. And I thank you for the young children. Pray for safety for all the schools. I pray that each and every one of us will have a good year, 2021. Hoa Salana. Amen.
how so much for that, Emily. And however, everyone who came out tonight to share, and for everyone who came out to listen and share. And It's a beautiful evening. I feel very clear in my mind. So Hawa, on behalf of everyone, and yes, there'll be a new webinar in the new year, and so everyone keep their eyes peeled for that. And Hawa for the medicine tonight, all of you. I don't even want to say goodbye, but I'm going to get kicked off. So you have good evenings and you sleep well. And hopefully I will at least run into one of you tomorrow at 6 feet away wearing a mask. Okay, kalas la dalang wa dulhan.